Good evening, gentlemen. This is a World War III Team Yankee painting session. Today I'm painting 3 platoons of Iranian infantry that will be part of my new mechanized company formation. I have worked on constructing quite a few infantry for this game and find them very enjoyable to paint and base. The first thing that I do is lay out all the plastic bases and metal infantry to make sure everything is there and accounted for. The metal infantry all have tiny artifacts on them that before I start painting need to be removed with the help of an X-Acto knife and some sprue cutters. With all of the artifacts removed, I can now move on to covering the miniatures with a base coat of paint. I use a multitude of paints from a variety of manufacturers. For all my infantry, recently I covered them with a base coat of Citadel's Chaos Black. I stick all my infantry figures down on a strip of duct tape, which helps me keep them organized as I work on them. Next, I brush on 2 coats of Battlefront's Grenadier Green. 2 coats may seem excessive to some. I just want to make sure that I don't miss any section of clothing on my soldier. Here I brush on Battlefront's Battlefield Brown onto the soldier wherever there's exposed skin on the face and hands. I'm closely following a Battlefront painting tutorial for Western infantry that you can find on their YouTube channel. I deviate just a little to make sure that my Iranians are unique. For the figure's boots, I simply paint them a quick coat of Citadel's Abandoned Black. For the soldier's G3 rifles, I paint a 50-50 mixture of Battlefront's Rocket Steel and Citadel's Abandoned Black. The mixture helps tone down how reflective and shiny looking the Rocket Steel color is. The soldier's G3 rifle has a stock and forward grip that is a green color. For this I use a 50-50 mixture of Battlefront's NATO Green and Vallejo's Light Green. The soldier has an assortment of packs, bags, and straps, all of which I paint using Battlefront's Cobra Drab. I apologize if it may be hard to see the paint color show up in this video. I've purchased some lighting to help with this problem in future projects. I liberally douse the entire figure with Battlefront's Ordnance Shade. The shade fills in gaps and crevices and brings out all the minute details on the soldier's kit. The shade may also end up covering some sloppy paintwork on my part, where I may have accidentally let the incorrect color wander onto an undesired section of the figure. Once the shader is dried, I go back to highlighting all the parts of the miniature with the colors I just painted them with. This makes the color really pop while keeping the detail left by the shader behind. The only exception to this is I paint all of the exposed skin sections with a 50-50 mixture of Battlefront's Battlefield Brown and European Skin. The last thing I paint on the figure is the round base which the soldier is standing on, with a quick coat of Battlefront's Battlefield Brown. This will mostly be covered up later with sand and grass, so I don't need to be as meticulous on this step as I have with others. For some of my Iranians, I have painted their helmets a coat of Battlefront's Dry Dust. This brings a bit more diversity to the color palette. They're looking pretty good and ready to base. Once all of the soldiers have been glued down to their corresponding bases, I cover the entire top of the base with a layer of glue in preparation for them to be submerged in some fine basing grit. After the glue has dried, I paint on a 2-to-1 parts mixture of water and Battlefield Brown on top of the grid. Dabbing on a full large brush of this paint is watery enough to soak all throughout the base. Not only am I getting the desired color applied, but the paint also acts as an extra layer of glue, holding all of the grit in place. Looks like we're almost done. These models are looking great. Just a few more steps now. I want the terrain the soldiers are standing on to look like a desert, and get this effect by first dry dusting the grit on the base. The next step to making my desert terrain is by gluing on patches of arid static grass. It gives the feeling that the land they are fighting in lacks sufficient water for this type of vegetation. With a pair of tweezers, I plop down enough grass on top of the base to make sure all of my glue spots are covered. It's better get this step done in one go, as trying to add more glue and grass later can look sloppy. Not all of the foliage I put down will look brown and dead, however. Applying more glue spots and using tweezers, I placed down clumps of green foliage mix. These spongy bits look like hardy desert shrubs and add a great final touch to the landscape. And there we go! 3 platoons of mechanized infantry, all painted over the course of a 3-day period. In a future video, I will assemble their M113 transport vehicles. Thanks for watching.